In this episode of Financial Literacy for Beginners, we're going to talk about how to be better with money. Cue the intro. So first, I want to preface this by saying I am not a financial advisor and I'm not trying to advise you financially, but I do want to provide some basic information so that you can make your own informed decisions. Now, the first thing that I want you to understand when really thinking about how to become better with your money is you have to learn the basics. You have to learn the basics. A lot of people want to jump from point A to point Z and not really see that there are so many things, so many nuances in between, and so many understandings that you have to really become familiar with, and not even master so much all the time, but really just become familiar with so that you can have a basic foundational knowledge and grow upon that knowledge over time. So learning the basics about, how money works and how your money works is very important. And, to really touch on that, you want to start with the basic economics of the world you live in. How do you make money? How is your money generated? How are the people making money off of you? If you're working a job, where is your money going? How many things are you spending money on every month? Why are you spending money on those things every month? And, how those things tie into the greater commerce at large. Those basic concepts are really important and really go a long way to nurturing your knowledge about how you can become better with money. And a way to do that is like what you're doing right now. Really immersing yourself in, the knowledge of financial education and financial literacy across the board. In the world we're living in right now, the only thing you're giving up is time. And I know time is very valuable. So, really take that time to learn the things that you need to learn about your financial literacy so that you can start to become better with money. Now, the second thing you want to do and really focus on is learning your interpretation of money. Once you learn the basics of how things work, you want to really delve into how you're interpreting that information. And that can be based on how you grew up and how you learned about, what money is all about. And the things that you're doing now really reflect those things that you've learned in the past. So you want to delve into how you feel and how you interpret how money is supposed to be used in your life. And that will actually go a long way to giving you a clear picture of what you need to do next. And that next thing is really work on your money habits. Everybody has money habits. We all have habitual things that we do day in and day out that really determine and shape our financial situation. Some good and some bad. So you really want to work on those money habits and really understand what yours are. And you can start to look at, the things around you, start to look at people around you and the different things they do, good and bad. You might study people who are, in a bad way with money and they're never, doing the right things with their money, and really study what they're doing and their habits day in and day out. And it'll really give you a picture of, am I doing similar things with my money? Am I doing, the same things that they're doing, which is causing me to be in a similar situation with my money at times? Or, am I doing the right things by looking at people who you think are doing, better with money, really looking at their habitual behaviors and really seeing and saying to yourself, how can I do some of the right things that they're doing with their money and get to the point where I'm making better decisions about the things that I do financially in my life? So really pay attention to that. Really pay attention to the good and the bad things that you can learn from others that are doing habitual things in their lives that are either good or bad with money, and apply those things to how you are dealing with money on a day in and day out basis. And you'll see the difference. You'll see the things change in your life. When you start applying those things that you see are good and bad, you'll start to see where you can make improvements on your financial situation and your understanding of what you're doing with money. And that's really what it's all about. We want to get to a place where we have an understanding of what we're doing with our money. And lastly, you want to find ways to hold yourself accountable. Now, I know this can be the most difficult part of this equation because oftentimes, we don't know the specific things that we're doing wrong that we need to be held accountable for. But if you are following those previous steps that I just explained, you will start to see and shape that picture in front of you of, I can stop doing this with my money, or I can, do more of this to kind of fix some of those things that I'm doing with my money situation, but you want to hold yourself accountable for those things. When you do start understanding what they are, you want to hold yourself accountable, because that is really what's going to change the outcome of what's happening in your financial life. I say all of this to say, it's one thing to understand all of the things that you're doing wrong or right in whatever situation that you're entering into financially, but it's another thing to hold yourself accountable for those things. And that's really where we start to move the needle of our understanding of how to become better with money. I know a lot of this is easier said than done, and I know, people really do work really hard at changing their financial situation, and it can become very difficult, if you are stuck in certain mind frames, or if you're just stuck in certain situations where, where your income is not improving, or you may not have an income. Things happen in life, and I do realize that. And I'm not by any means trying to say that, if you just do this, your situation is going to improve. But what I'm illustrating here is that you can get to a point where you are making better decisions if you start to understand what decisions you're making and hold yourself accountable for those decisions. I hope this has been extremely helpful for someone. And until we talk again, I wish you health, wealth, and freedom.